So with this exercise, we're keeping an isometric bridge as we walk our feet in and out. The whole time I'm focused on keeping this tucked under, not arching my back. I'm keeping my hips up, but I'm keeping my core tight, trying to keep my low back flat. I'm walking out as far as I can while keeping my hips up high. That's the goal. If you feel like you're walking out super far and your hips are dropping, don't walk out as far. The goal is to keep your hips high as you walk your feet in and out. You're gonna have your arms on the ground for support. To make the exercise harder, you would just put your arms in the air. So with these hamstring bridges, we're gonna be keeping our toes up off of the ground. And instead of the traditional bridge where we have our knees in a little bit more flexion, we're gonna have our knees straight. I want you to have your knees as straight as you can, still having your knees bent, but know that the straighter your knees are, and the more you're gonna feel it in your hamstrings, and the more difficult it will be. So if you have your knees in this position, and you go to bridge up, and you're really feeling it in your low back and up behind your thighs, bend your knees just a little bit. Find just the right challenge where you still feel like you're getting a good hamstring workout. Again, you can have your arms here. The wider you have your arms, the more support you'll get for your upper body, versus the more narrow, the less support. And keep this core tight. So before you go to do the bridge, sort of do a little bit of tucking your pelvis, that posterior pelvic tilt. Keep your abs tight, and then lift your butt up off the floor. Hold for a second, and repeat. So this is called a hamstring extender. What we're working on is our hamstring flexibility. You want to try to get your knee towards your chest as far as you can. And now we're trying to straighten our knee as far as we can. That's going to put the hamstring on max length. If you feel any nerve symptoms, so tingling or a weird sensation into your foot or to your toes, you can always point your foot down. But if you want to feel more of a stretch, you can point your toes towards you, and then you're going to feel more pulling in the back of your leg. But really try to maintain keeping your knee as close to your body as you can. If it feels like it's too much or too intense, you just back off and then you work within this range. Go nice and slow, you don't have to rush it. Really try to squeeze your quad at the top while still keeping your abs braced. And go. So these are standing lateral leg swings. So I had my hands on my hips to start. You can also have your hands out to the side. That can actually help with balance and creating a counterweight. But as I come in, I'm pointing my foot in and pointing my foot down, versus when I go out, pointing my foot out, pointing my foot up. And I'm trying to limit the motion to here as I do this, versus getting my whole body moving. But that's okay if that's what you're focusing on. But I'm getting movement here at my hip joint. This is what it looks like on the other side. As I go out, if I go further, I may get a little bit of a groin stretch. And then when I go in, I may even get a little bit of a glute stretch, or even the lower part of my low back, right above my glute here. So these are standing sagittal leg swings. What I mean by that is we're kicking our legs straight and we're also kicking it back, but I'm also doing a little bit with my feet. So when I kick forward, I'm pointing my toe, hitting the gas pedal, versus when I go back, I'm pointing my toe up, taking my foot off the gas pedal. And then I'm trying to keep my knee straight, and I'm just trying to move from my hip. So what I mean by that is I'm not trying to move from this area as I perform this exercise, just moving through my hip joint, okay? I don't wanna see this or really rounding, just getting things moving. You can work on the distance. As you go further up, you may feel more of a hamstring stretch. If you go further back, you may even feel a little bit of stretch in the front, depending on how flexible you are. This is a hamstring curl. I'm performing this on my back with sliders. We're gonna keep our butt flat on the ground the entire time. We're gonna keep our low back flat against the ground the entire time, so that's gonna make you work your ab and core muscles a little bit. And now, say that you don't have the turf and sliders at home. You can use a towel, you can use a t-shirt, you name it, on wood floor, on tile floor, something where you're able to slide your feet and your heels. Where you're gonna keep your toes lifted, you're just gonna dig into the ground, into the surface with your heels. Like I said, keep your low back flat. Now you're gonna bring your heels towards your butt as close as you can, then slide out and repeat. You should feel the muscles behind your thighs, your hamstrings working with this exercise.